Hey yogis, today I'm bringing you a class that's a little bit different than traditional yoga. I often find that my yoga practice is something that I do as a way to connect with myself, as a way to connect with my deeper self, and if you believe in spirituality, as a way for me to connect with something greater. But I also find it's a way for me to slow down and give myself true self-care. And for me, one of the things that can really easily get swept aside when I'm really busy and when I'm possibly single or in a relationship, in either scenario, I can find myself very disconnected with my own sensuality and sexuality, and that ability to connect really deeply with myself in those moments. So sometimes I really like to do a yoga practice where I turn on some sassy music and I allow myself to really explore my body in a sweet way, and one that is a bit more pleasurable than a traditional yoga practice. So this one's going to be a bit different. There's going to be lots of touching of the body as we move through, lots of self-massage, and just really different energy for this. It's also really fun to practice naked or in lingerie if that is your fancy. Of course, I'm out in the middle of my friend's villa here in Bali, so I'm not about to get in lingerie, but do what feels good at home. I've got some playlist options on the blog, so if you're watching this on YouTube or anywhere else, make sure to go to the blog to get a playlist or a couple playlist options to turn on some music that makes you feel sassy and kind of centered in on this feeling of sensual energy. We're going to start seated and just be open-minded today. Allow yourself to explore. Even if you get a little uncomfortable, that's okay. So probably a good practice for when you're alone or with someone you really trust, or closed doors. I'll meet you seated on the floor. Okay, so this yoga practice is going to be gentle and sweet and soft, and it's all about what feels good. So I'm practicing outside right now, but you might want to practice with a bunch of pillows, a bunch of fuzzy blankets. It's all about feeling really good and feeling really supported. So if you want to grab anything extra, fuzzy blankets, pillows to really prop you up, especially if you've got some tight hips, grab some pillows to just give you an extra boost and just feel really grounded and connected here in this practice. So just taking a moment, we're going to tune in to the breath. So I'd love for you to place one hand on the heart and maybe one hand down on the belly, and just close your eyes. And just focus in on your natural breath. We're not trying to control anything just yet, just noticing the movement of the breath. And we want to deepen the breath a bit more. So see if you can move more air into the lower abdomen, into the belly. Letting the belly really expand on the inhale and contract on the exhale. And just allowing yourself the opportunity to settle into the current moment. I always like to picture all my thoughts and worries and to-do lists and what's happening after this, and I write it all down on a piece of paper on my head, crumple it up, toss it out the front door of whatever room I'm in. It can wait for me after I finish this class. So just letting those thoughts be for a later time. Right now you're tuning into yourself, to your body, to your needs. Good. And keeping the eyes closed, I'm going to bring the palms together and just rub the palms together back and forth really fast. Build some heat, build some fire on the palms. And we'll place both hands flat on the chest, connecting with your heart. Taking a moment to tune in with some love for yourself. Find some gratitude for trying something new, trying something different today. Be open-minded. And just give yourself permission right now to get a bit uncomfortable, to play, to try something new. And opening the eyes. Okay. Just allowing yourself to sit comfortable in this position for a moment. We're just seated, we're calm, and I want you to start to feel into your neck and shoulders. So I often stretch these things out at the beginning of class, usually through movement, but I want you right now to use your hands to maybe find areas, and you can do this really gently, just running your fingers over, and you can stretch here a bit, so maybe rolling the head side to side, as you massage your ears, massage your neck. And there's no right or wrong here. Just really allowing yourself to feel into the neck as you move the neck around. If you've got your hair down, maybe running your fingers up, giving yourself a little scalp massage. Just connecting inwards. Stretching out the neck, maybe moving into the shoulders. And you're just kind of exploring as you feel around. You might kind of dig in for a little bit more work. And just tuning into yourself and your own needs right now. So much of this practice is based on you and your individual needs. So I'm just guiding you to feel, to do what feels right. And maybe we reach everything overhead and just maybe find some movement here. So just reaching around, asking yourself what you need. Reaching the hands out and all the way down. Maybe take the head side to side. And today we're just focusing on pleasure, what feels really, really good for you right now. So closing your eyes, thinking about your spine for a moment, and just picturing what might feel good for you to do for your spine right now. For some of us, we might be craving a forward fold. For others, we might be wanting a nice twist. Just doing what feels really good. And if you're not sure, keep the eyes closed right now and just move around in a constantly curious position. And you're looking for pleasure. So when you find a pose that feels pleasurable, stay there for a couple of breaths. And tune in to what it is that feels really pleasurable about that pose. What was your body craving that you were just able to give to her or to him or to they? And see if you can bring a smile to your face as you move in a way that gives you so much freedom. So sometimes I like to sway a bit in my poses really gently. This feels really nice to me. Awesome. And coming all the way back to center, opening your eyes, tuning inwards. How did that feel to be self-guided? Being aware of how hesitant we can be sometimes to lead our own bodies, when deep down our intuitive knowing knows exactly what we need. So just paying attention, bringing some awareness here. And we're just going to find our way to a nice juicy tabletop position. So bringing the knees back around, just moving with so much grace, so much ease. Just taking a few cat-cows. Just because these always feel so needed for me. I don't know about you guys at home. And And then again, just finding some movement in this pose. Taking the hips side to side. And I'm going to bring the big toes together, knees wide for child's pose. But sitting back onto the heels, I'm actually going to walk my hands back and just open and arch my chest. For me, this pose feels really connected with the earth. It feels like I'm opening into my root chakra, my sacral chakra. And so sometimes having something that's a bit more activated here instead of falling forward can feel really good for me. If you want to come all the way down, of course, tuning into what feels good for you. But I also like to get a little sassy here. So I might start to lift my hips. One side and then the other. Maybe even bring my hands back for this. And I'm just moving and playing. And I might just move through my upper body, just feeling really connected. Maybe my hands are exploring my thighs. Maybe arching a little bit, swaying a little bit. Just tuning in, quieting your mind, feeling the music here, and asking yourself what you need in this pose. And you might end up sliding into another pose. That's okay. You might end up lifting a bit more, coming onto the toes. But just really asking your body what it needs. You might give yourself a hug. Playing, rolling, moving through. Letting yourself feel sensual and creative and playful. You might roll through the body a bit. So I say it's yoga, but it's really just connecting with your body. And when you're ready, we're going to slide the hands forward, tuck the toes just enough to bring us up into downward dog. I really like to do a sassy walk in this position when I'm feeling like I want some yummy movement. So just take one foot, step it in front of the other to the other side, and then switch. So it's just this kind of sassy walk. I'm going to do this as I slowly walk my way up to the front of the mat, really soft, really gentle. And at some point, really gently bringing my way up to the top. I might feel my legs, my body as I make my way there. Reaching my hands overhead. Giving myself a big hug, one arm on top of the other. And then maybe the other side, big hug. Beautiful. And just from here, gentle standing position. So you can be at the top of the mat or you can be wherever it feels good. Just gonna keep my feet about hip distance apart and sink into a chair pose, but not for the sake of the actual pose, but because I want to get really sassy and playful in this movement. So one of the ways I feel really sensual and spirited and connected with my passion is through rolling the hips, through moving the hips, through shaking the hips. So I like to bend into my knees here and just roll around in the hips. And so there's a few ways to do this. You can just simply take the hips side to side. You can actually roll the hips around in a circle. You can take the hips like in a figure 8 type motion. So you bring one hip forward and back and then the other hip forward and back. Or you just close your eyes and just play for a moment here. We're just moving through the hips, playing in this chair pose. Maybe your hands move around, maybe they don't. Just doing whatever feels really good to you. I know your legs are probably screaming a bit, but you can always bend the knees less and come up. And I'm just going to start walking those feet out a little bit wider. So again, just playing with whatever music you have on. Just allowing yourself some space to get creative in your movement, to play, to dance. To connect inwards for a moment. And we're going to sink in to a nice goddess pose. So the toes are out, the heels are in. And again, from here, we're just connecting. I love to touch my thighs here because I can feel how strong they are in this pose, and it reminds me of my strength. So I like to feel into the thighs, maybe rock side to side, just like we were doing in the other pose, or maybe I move my upper body side to side, or maybe I move all of it all at once. But again, we're connecting with the root, connecting with the lower chakras. And when I move my upper body, I'm opening the solar plexus chakra, which is really that alignment with confidence. And it's just play and it's silly. And I'm just having a lot of fun moving around. And you might even get to a point one day where you're like turning yourself on from all this play and movement. I really like when that happens. It's a fun way to like remind yourself that you are sexy, you are a goddess or a king or whatever it is that you want to feel like. You can have that energy, you can be a goddess, diva, whatever it is that you want to embrace. And just begin all the way up to the top. Reach the hands out and just drop the arms for a moment. You can maybe wiggle the feet in if you want a little bit extra space. But I also like to tune into my other senses. We just played, we touched, we moved, we got into the body, but I just want to tune inward for a moment and connect with maybe what I'm hearing right now. So I don't know if you guys can hear my background noises over the music, probably a little bit. There's cicadas, there's bells in the background. There's lots of birds and chickens I can hear nearby. I'm just tuning in with the sounds. Maybe just tune in for a moment to the music that you're playing. You can still move, you can still sway, but we're just connecting with sound for a moment. And then connecting with what you see. So opening the eyes for a moment, tuning in to the space around you. And we're talking about pleasure today. We're talking about really connecting with our own sensual energy. And so thinking about pleasure, just looking around the room, and I want you to identify the things that bring you joy. So I'm in a space right now where I'm in so much greenery, so the greenery is bringing me a lot of joy. For you at home, it might be a certain candle that's nearby, a fuzzy blanket that brings you joy, a family photo. Just looking around, and I want you to bring all that pleasurable energy into the body as you look around the room. And again, you can keep dancing, you can keep swaying, focusing on sight. And just maybe tuning in with your mouth for a moment. What are you tasting? That might seem weird. I also feel coffee, taste coffee breath. Not the cutest, but I love coffee. And so I'm just like, even though it's not the greatest, to have coffee breath, it just makes me smile and feel good. Another fun thing I like to do when I'm trying to bring pleasure is I can imagine certain tastes in my mouth, and then I know what I want to have for food that day. I'm like, ooh, I'm really craving strawberries dipped in chocolate. I can have that pleasure in my life. Beautiful. And just tuning back into yourself, just swaying out. We close the practice. Super simple today. Just want you to, again, close the eyes and move in whatever way the music's calling you to move, whatever way your body's calling you to move. Even if you just stand here and run your fingers over your skin, connecting with yourself. And I invite you to keep this going. So this was a short practice. I just wanted to introduce you to the concept because it really is a self-practice. So keep the music going, keep moving in your body, do what feels good. Maybe do a relaxing meditation after this, or tune in to what you love, what brings you pleasure, what brings you joy, and keep that in the back of your mind as you move through the day, knowing that you are fully worthy of pleasure, fully worthy of feeling sensual and sexual and gorgeous in your own skin. So take advantage of that knowledge and move forward with peace of mind today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm the Remote Yogi. If you loved this class and you would like to see a lot more of them, make sure to join my Remote Yogi tribe. It's an online membership with over 100 yoga videos with me and some other amazing guest teachers. But we also have meditations, group coaching calls, Lots of different freebies in there around how to better your life in a way that feels really good for you. If you want to build some more confidence, if you want to learn more about the chakras I was talking about today, all of that is included. So you can look that up on the remoteyogi.blog/remoteyogitribe. See you guys there.